Okay, week 2. Now, this is all about how the story that you're avoiding is probably the one that's going to change your life. We're back. We've got mics, different drink today. So, last week I talked about creative block, about the waiting, about the very convincing reasons that we tell ourselves that we're not ready. And this week I wanted to go a little bit deeper because I think that there is something underneath the block that we don't talk about enough. The story you've been avoiding is probably the most important one you'll ever tell. And I want to start with something quite personal because people have been telling me my whole life that I'm such an old soul. And I kind of used to receive that as a compliment when people would be like, oh, you're so mature, you know so much, you carry yourself like someone who's already been through things. And yeah, but what I understand now is I think that what they were seeing had very little to do with wisdom. It was kind of this particular posture of a child that had to hold very adult things very quietly from a young age and would know how to absorb everything she was carrying in a room. And would always think about, she would know more that she would say or feel more that she would show. And, I carried that for a long time before I could name it. And I think the thing that I want you to understand is about why you keep circling is that it doesn't look like avoidance. It looks like productivity. It looks like craft. It looks like something I'm working on. And when I made my documentary, my film, I originally told myself it's about grief, it's about feminism, it's about healing, it's about family. And each of those frames are so real. And in a way, having time to reflect, each of those frames were also showing something that I couldn't see yet. And I think that is true for everybody because this is what most of us do. We become extraordinarily skilled at other people's visions. We show up, we deliver, we build a reputation for craft and reliability, and we hold such complex material together. And we apply all of that faithfully for years sometimes to work that isn't fully ours. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that work. There is definitely space for that work in the world. But it kind of touches on the parts of us that we'd spent years of learning to protect when we're sort of still not doing the thing that we want to do, when we prioritize that work over our own work, right? I know that from the inside. I did that for many years. I needed to tune out, do the thing I did, and tune back in. And I was doing that for a very long time. So I know that on the inside, and I know it from the outside too, because now in the lab, the StoryTell-Her Studios lab, where I'm meeting people every month and I'm watching what happens when the circling finally stops. I want to tell you about something that happened this week, and I'm going to name what happened this week. I'm not going to name the person, I'm not going to name the story, because that's the whole point of the work I do, that it is really carefully held before it's ever held publicly, if at all. This person has been living with chronic illness for years. No one chapter is more difficult than the other. And, where one story starts before the last one finished, where the body has been the site of so much that the mind has rarely had space to catch up. And within all of that, woven through all of that, is a creative life that has been extraordinary. This person makes music, has incredible words, is the maker of things, making things only available in response to what they've been going through, and sitting with those things and watching the moment when that person finally stops circling all the things that they were making instead of telling the story and the weight of the story that they wanted to tell, maybe for the first time, and with me and without flinching. And it was incredible to watch. Not for a film, not for a book, not for an album, not for an audience, but for yourself, for that moment. And this week, I really felt like that's why I've built StoryTell-Her Studios, because I recognized viscerally how desperately we all want to be witnessed, specifically for our creativity, specifically often before we're ready to share anything with the world, because that is what I needed. And I didn't have a space to unpack all of that privately before I did it publicly. The shadow work, the healing, the long process of understanding what I was actually carrying before I could begin to make art from it. And I went through a really powerful process of integrated therapy during my filmmaking. But that methodology is so powerful. It's a framework. It's providing a structured environment for us to slow down before we speed up, where the first question isn't, how do I tell this? It's, what is it I'm actually here to say? Tell it, and you deserve to hear yourself say it. I built Storyteller Time for that reason, because I need room to just say it sometimes. And so if you are circling something, if there's a story inside of you, if there's a voice there saying that there's more, stay here. Stick with me. Come find me off of this platform. See the work that I do. And if this video has found you at the right moment, share it with someone who needs to hear it. There's new episodes every week. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I will be here cheering you on, motivating you to alchemize your pain into purpose and story and creativity, because I truly believe the opposite of expression is depression. And I've been there. And I don't ever want to go back there. So it might seem insane, me sitting in this yellow room with a cup of tea every week, but it is because I started something, and I didn't just say, here's what I'm doing. I did it, and I made something deeply powerful and beautiful. And after that was made, there was a lot of space left to contemplate what it was all for. And I think it was all to show you what's possible. And I wasn't going to sit here and preach until I'd known I'd done something myself first. But I also think it's so I can be here to hold space, to guide you, to help you, to support you if that's what you want, and to build a community of women especially that have often been in scenarios and spaces that have not given them the room to speak their truth. And this is an undeniable mission of mine. So stay here. Let's see how it unfolds together. Some people come in the lab knowing that. Some people arrive with a story already named, already pressing, already running out of patience. They just want to get it made. And other people, they come with a sense, maybe a pressure, a weight, something just insistent that they can't quite locate. And part of that work is finding out what it actually is. Part of the work that we do in that space is finding out what it actually is. And both of those are right spaces to begin. Not every story needs to be told to the world. Not everything needs to be on YouTube or social media or on national television. Not every truth needs to be on camera or a commission or a brand or a platform with 1 million subscribers. Some stories do need to be told privately, just to a partner or a parent or a friend or a therapist or a coach or someone that's been waiting without knowing that they need to finally stop carrying it. And some stories need to be released that way, in a therapist's room or a women's circle or a community of people who have lived something similar. All of those spaces I have found deep healing in. But honestly, those are the spaces where you discover the thing that you're here to say long before it makes it to the public. And I think that release, the moment the thing that has been living inside of you privately is finally witnessed by someone outside of you, and the world does not end and you do not fall apart. That's the beginning. And for some of us, the art will come later or never. And both of those are okay. My dog's just heard something and started barking. So I want to leave you with something, right? Not an answer for this week, just a question. What are you circling? Not the polished version of that story, Not the one that sounds reasonable when you say it out loud. The real one. The one that keeps you up at night. The one that you've been calling something else for years because the real name for it feels a little too exposed. And you don't have to make a documentary. You don't have to do any of this publicly. Finding safe spaces, private containers is so powerful and profound. And that can be enough with a person or a community that can hold it with you. That story deserves to be spoken, and you deserve to tell it, and you deserve to hear yourself say it. I built Storyteller Time for that reason, because I need room to just say it sometimes. And so if you are circling something, if there's a story inside of you, if there's a voice there saying that there's more, stay here. Stick with me. Come find me off of this platform. See the work that I do. And if this video has found you at the right moment, share it with someone who needs to hear it. There's new episodes every week. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I will be here cheering you on, motivating you to alchemize your pain into purpose and story and creativity, because I truly believe the opposite of expression is depression. And I've been there. And I don't ever want to go back there. So it might seem insane, me sitting in this yellow room with a cup of tea every week. But it is because I started something. I did it. And I made something deeply powerful and beautiful. And after that was made, there was a lot of space left to contemplate what it was all for. And I think it was all to show you what's possible. And I wasn't going to sit here and preach until I'd known I'd done something myself first. But I also think it's so I can be here to hold space, to guide you, to help you, to support you if that's what you want. And to build a community of women, especially, that have often been in scenarios and spaces that have not given them the room to speak their truth. And this is an undeniable mission of mine. So let's see how it unfolds together.